Hi everyone, good morning. I'm meteorologist Taylor Kanost. This is meteorologist Brandon Lawrence, and we are here to talk about some things. A lot of weather heading our way over the next few days, from rain today to our potential first snow of the season late this week. So exciting times after kind of a boring fall so far weather-wise.
Right. Aside from the bigger rain events that we had in October, we haven't really had a lot, and we have been so fortunate that we haven't had snow yet this season. And I don't think this is, I've been saying I wouldn't call this a blockbuster event by any means. In fact, I wouldn't even call it a big deal. It's just
it's the first one. Yes. Yeah. So everyone gets excited for the first snow, no doubt about that. If you're looking for an excuse to get the Christmas tree up, I'd say this maybe warrants that. But
we
that's
need
your
an
call.
excuse?
Well, depends who you ask. Yeah, I know. That's a whole can of worms. Anyways, let's get to the radar as of this morning. Not too much going on. We've had the fog. We've had some drizzle out there, occasional light showers, and that's pretty much what we're still seeing right now. It's just a few light showers popping up in parts of central and western Iowa, but nothing of significance just yet. But here's what's going to happen later today. Pretty big area of low pressure is going to be developing to our south and west, and that's actually going to move right through Iowa later on this afternoon and this evening. Cold front will stretch south of that, and all of that combined will bring us a healthy dose of some rainfall and potentially some thunderstorms later on today.
Right.
So why don't you go over a little closer look at what we can expect?
Yeah, so I think the way to look at this is that it's scattered in nature to begin with. And when we talk about scattered showers, of course, that means not everybody's going to see it. As we get towards this afternoon, so up in the top right, you see the time here, 4 to 8 p.m. That's when it really fills in and becomes much more widespread. Also where you see yellows and oranges popping up, of course, that indicates heavier rain, but that gives us a little bit of an idea of where we may have some of that thunder. I do want to stress to you, although we never totally rule it out, the risk for any severe weather is pretty low. There's technically a level 1 risk for a couple of counties in far southern Iowa. I really don't think we're going to see much. These are more elevated type storms, but we always keep our eyes peeled for it. And then we will see rain continuing through at least the first half of the overnight hours. This will eventually slowly shift to the east. This would be 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Areas of eastern Iowa will still wake up to rain. However, it'll be ending in central Iowa, and all these little dots that you see moving across the screen represent where we'll have some pretty strong winds. Tomorrow is going to kick off pretty windy 48 hours or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So how much rain are we going to get? Here's the latest from this particular model. We look at various models and they show different pictures here. What you can take away from this is there will probably be a portion of central Iowa that gets 1 to 2 inches of rain. This model is saying it's going to stretch from southwest to northeast Iowa and move right through Des Moines. There are other models that kind of push this heavy line of rain a little bit farther to the east of I-35. So I would say probably the least amount of rain is going to fall in northwest Iowa. Heaviest rain is going to be around central or eastern Iowa, where we could get that 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. So somewhere around here is going to see some pretty healthy rain. I would say for Des Moines, this might be the max of what we see. I was
going to say this might be a smidge overdone the farther south you go, but I think you're right. The trend has been right here through the middle part of the state for at least a couple of days.
Yeah, so good soaking rain for a lot of us. As we head to Veterans Day tomorrow, it looks like it will be a dry day once we get rid of that early morning rain. So we'll have probably some sunshine through the morning and then early afternoon. By late day, we're going to start to see some clouds move in from the north to the south, so probably filling in with the cloud cover by the end of the day. And then, here we go.
All right, that's midnight tomorrow night.
Yeah. So this is Thursday night when we begin to see snowflakes potentially moving into northern Iowa. Probably becomes a little bit more widespread as we approach sunrise on Friday morning. So those of you north of Highway 20, you might wake up to some snow showers on Friday morning. It probably won't be consistent necessarily, but there could be off and on snow at that time. Then it could drift southward by mid to late morning, close to I-80. So for Des Moines, maybe not any snow at sunrise Friday, but certainly possible we could get it by mid to late morning, and that may continue through the early afternoon. By mid to late afternoon, it does look like it's going to peter out.
And I think we could stress on this too. This even looks to me just a smidge overdone. Some of these bands of snow look a little heavier than it probably will be. Somebody's going to get a quick shot, a quick burst of heavier snowflakes, but the thing I'm more concerned about, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, is this coupled with the strong wind can make for difficult travel, even if the roads themselves don't have a ton on them.
Yeah, in recent years, we've had pileups on I-35 when it snowed 1 inch, you know, so the actual amount of snow is not the only factor out there to what could impact us, but well, here we go. Here is our first snowfall forecast of the season. T stands for trace, which is basically just a light dusting on probably just the grass, not even the road. So we're not anticipating too many impacts for Des Moines or south of I-80, but less than an inch in the forecast for Carroll, Fort Dodge, Ames, over to Grinnell. Best chance for maybe a max of 2 inches in Iowa is going to be north central Iowa, where we could get a couple of those heavier bands of snow. So we'll go with 1 to 2 inches for Mason City. But again, this is not a big deal as far as heavy snowfall is concerned.
I always describe a trace of snow as almost nothing, but not enough, or not a little enough to be nothing.
Yeah.
There's something there, but you look at it and you're like, oh, that's that.
We're expecting it. There's a decent chance it will snow in Des Moines, but will it actually stick? Will it cause impacts on the roads?
Big factor in that is going to be the strong wind that we get. This is tomorrow night at midnight, and then it really leads us into Friday. Watch these potential wind gusts, and I've been watching these for several days, and at first I thought maybe these would be a little bit overdone, but I really don't think they are. That to me is almost the biggest issue we have on Friday, is just this incredibly strong wind. These are potential gusts between 40 and 45 miles per hour. It will be strongest farther west and northwest of Des Moines. I think parts of northwest Iowa, maybe up near Sioux City, could see gusts near 50 miles per hour. And it's going to stay that way through Friday afternoon, still breezy to the east, a little bit lighter. And then eventually Friday night, that will start to calm down a little bit. It will still be breezy over the weekend, but not that serious.
Yeah. So here's kind of a summary of what to expect on Friday. Most of us are going to see less than 1 inch of snow, if any snow at all. Most, if not all, of this snow probably not going to be able to stick to the roads because the road temperatures are still well above freezing. So a lot of that will melt on contact, but it could accumulate at least a little bit on grass and other elevated surfaces. The wind will certainly be strong across all of central Iowa, sustained out of the northwest around 20 to 35 miles per hour. Gusts probably a max of 50 miles per hour, especially in western Iowa, and you combine those two, that could lead to periods of low visibility on the roads for travelers. Worst travel conditions probably going to be northern Iowa. You think north of Highway 20 on I-35, that's probably going to be a rough stretch, especially on Friday morning. If you're traveling on I-80, I don't anticipate major issues. There could be, a brief period of snow that caught up in that wind could cause some problems, but certainly the northern third of the state will experience the worst of the conditions.
You know, even high-profile vehicles, though, can struggle in the wind, and because this wind will be coming out of the north and west, if you are traveling I-80 in either direction, that wind will be hitting the side of your vehicle. So just, in other words, pay close attention. You should always pay attention on the road, by the way, but make sure you do it extra on Friday.
Yeah. And first snow of the year as well, so some people might need reminders on how to drive through the snow, as we all know. All right, let's talk temperatures for a minute. These are your forecast highs today. We'll see mid-50s south, low 50s to the north, so cooler than we've been. Unfortunately, our streak of 60s is going to come to an end today, and we'll just keep trending cooler from here on out. Highs near 50 on Thursday. Again, some sunshine tomorrow, so not a brutal day, but when you factor in the wind, it will feel cooler than these highs. And then Friday's going to be gross. We're looking at highs in the 30s. Basically, it's going to stay in the 30s all day long. And then you factor in the wind, which is always of major importance this time of the year. These are your forecast wind chills. Throughout the day Friday, they're probably going to stay in the 20s.
So I said it this morning to Jackie and Sabrina and Shanu, and they all kind of, everybody giggles at me a little bit. I'm serious. Like, if you don't have your gloves out yet, or you don't have your hat out yet, you will need it in 48 hours, and you're going to step outside on Friday and say, where's all my stuff? Yeah. For me, it's all stuck up in the closet somewhere. Yeah. I'm going to go this evening and probably dig it out and figure out where some of that is, because this is just going to be those rough, feels like temperatures on Friday. And then you've got the snow flying and hitting you in the face, too. So
just not pleasant in general.
Out.
Yeah. And speaking of not pleasant, the weekend doesn't look too good either, unfortunately. Low 40s for highs. Some spots may stay in the 30s on Friday as well. We've been keeping an eye on a chance for another push of snow or a wintry mix on Saturday night. Latest models have pushed that toward northeast Iowa and even farther northeast into Wisconsin. So hopefully that trend continues and we don't have to worry about that in central Iowa. If it were to drift back towards central Iowa, we could see some wet snow on Saturday night, especially in our northeast counties. But for now, not too worried about it. Just a 20% chance of that happening in central Iowa Saturday night into early Sunday morning. But definitely the story will continue to be the cold air. That's going to stick around for a while.
I will say, too, and you'll have to watch and see our 10-day forecast at midday today. You know, people say, all right, well, here we go. We're in winter. I kind of feel like this is more like a taste of winter because next week we kind of go back up.
Yeah.
It'll feel like fall again by this time next week. So, yes, we're going to get this first bigger shot of winter weather, but I wouldn't say we are in winter and that we will stay there.
It's, you know, the tug of war in
Right.
late fall that we typically see between winter and fall weather. So, yeah.
So I got to ask you, are you ready for that first snow?
Oh, yeah. I've been ready for it.
Dave Downey, are you ready for the first snow?
Absolutely not.
Uh-oh.
A big no from Dave. He just came back from Miami, so.
I was going to look to see if there were any questions. Dawn said, when will the cold start and how cold will it get? So, Dawn, I guess it's depending on your perspective. To me, it starts Friday when you wake up.
I mean, the real cold, yeah.
That's when it'll be most severe. And then, let's see, Megan had asked, when should the metro start seeing snowflakes? Mid-morning on Friday, is that kind of what we think there on the timing?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll go back.
So mid-morning, we're thinking like 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. sometime in that time frame.
Yeah, so it'll start farther north even before sunrise on Friday, and then, yeah, so here's 6 a.m.
That's 6 a.m. It's still north of us a little bit.
Then by late morning, it looks like, is when we could see the snow. Now, again, it's not guaranteed we get snow in Des Moines still. It's not a 100% chance that we'll get the snow in Des Moines, but it's possible that we'll at least see some flakes flying around by midday on Friday.
And for your reference, the average first snow that we see each year is November 15th. So we are not, by any means, this isn't unusual. In the past 3 years, so what are we at? So in 2020, 2019, and 2018, that first snow was in October. In 2017, it wasn't until a few days before Christmas.
Yeah.
So this year, assuming we get at least a trace or a tenth of an inch in Des Moines, we will hit that sweet spot in the middle.
Yeah, so being normal for a change. How about that? All right, so there you have it. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments.
Yeah, I was trying to see if there were any more. I think there is a good reminder here for you. If you haven't done so before, go into your App Store or your Google Play Store on your phone. Download our free We Are Iowa app. It's a great tool. You can see the forecast that all of our meteorologists put out multiple times a day. You can get the best updates there about not just the snow, but the rain today, the timing of all that. We even give you some ideas on what you may need to wear and when you may need to pull out that heavier winter coat. So it's a great app to have. There's hour-by-hour forecast. And the one thing people always ask for is radar. Where do what's the best app to look at radar? I kind of think it's ours. I mean, go on there. You can zoom into your town, your city, and see exactly what's happening.
Yep, and as opposed to most weather phone apps, we actually update ours. It's not a computer doing it.
Right.
So if you trust us to give you an accurate forecast, which
we hope you do.
Yeah, then, give that a try. All right, well, we appreciate you all watching this morning, and again, feel free to ask us questions leading up to the rain today or the potential snow heading our way on Friday. Have a good Wednesday, everyone.
See you later.